Welcome to Deleted Saves. On this episode, StarTropics on the NES. Picture it, if you will. A balmy day on a tropical island, the local native people going about their lives, when suddenly the seas beyond their village erupt and part, a strange yellow vessel emerging from the depths. The vessel disgorges a young man, the American, a toy dangling from his hip. The natives immediately turn to each other and declare, "Yep, this idiot will solve our local problem of the minute," and point him in the direction of a nearby cave before the American can even repeat the line, "Have you seen my uncle?" That is today's topic in a nutshell. StarTropics is just an oddity of a game. Released in 1990, late in the life cycle of the NES, it was only ever intended for North American and European audiences despite its Japanese development. It is an adventure game shown from the top-down isometric perspective, appearing to draw inspiration from earlier adventure games. Movement being somewhat limited, hopping from tile to tile across dangerous waters and chasms within the multitude of caves across several chapters in 4 cardinal directions is the name of the game. And the premise is just, well, let me explain. The player takes on the role of All-American Kid Mike, baseball player, both his hobby and his only defining character trait, who came halfway around the world to find his favorite scientist/cultural anthropologist uncle, Dr. Jones. Parallels to a famous movie hero, anyone? An uncle who has been working at his laboratory in the South Pacific, a point hammered home by the somewhat absurd grass skirt and coconut bra combination of the native islanders, and repeated mention of the constellation known as the Southern Cross, under which anything is possible. Mike, being the proficient pitcher he is gifted an ancient local weapon of power, which, and I shit you not, dear listener, is a yo-yo. Let that sink in. To defend himself with as he goes off in search of his missing uncle along this multi-island adventure. I am not sure what the inspiration for the use of a yo-yo as a weapon was in the game, but it was long rumored that the yo-yo design was inspired by an ancient tool used to hunt game among tribal people. This, of course, has been thoroughly debunked, as the first known mention of the weaponized toy was by the Duncan brothers, who invented the yo-yo in the 1930s and used the concept as a marketing ploy. From there, the game's plot goes sideways quickly, as the player finds a message in a bottle from his uncle Dr. Jones, stating that he's been abducted by aliens. Get your tinfoil hats ready. And crosses the various islands looking for further clues and meeting every manner of monster, in addition to tropes such as isolated warrior women, talking animals, fortune tellers, and tribal chiefs along the way. The player even has his uncle's private submarine, conveniently controlled by a small AI robot, to help him cross the South Seas. Of course, the final chapter takes place aboard an alien spaceship, the central conceit of the game, due to a discovery the uncle made involving visitors from another planet. Sure, why not? StarTropics, as I stated earlier, was designed specifically for a Western Hemisphere audience, with a lot of callbacks and overt nods to specifically American culture, such as the first village you encounter being called the Coral Cola. It was also a classic case of having a wacky premise and throwing whatever shit the designers could at the wall just to see what stuck. It may not have been able to work any other way, but it did. Sort of. I think. I should mention it was also the first game of its type that I had encountered that utilized something other than in-game knowledge to advance the plot, which led to the game having an inbuilt flaw in those days. You see, way back when, games came with instruction manuals, something not encountered often in modern games. These manuals are just that, basic instruction sheets. Jump is A, attack is B, press left to move forward, and so forth. They might include a synopsis of the paper-thin plot or some production artwork, but mostly they were just legal and warranty information and filler to make the parents think that a $50 price tag even back in the day was worth something. In the case of StarTropics, it included a physical copy of the letter you got from your uncle Dr. Jones. At a critical juncture in the game, the AI robot of the submarine would tell you to go run the letter underwater, and it would reveal a code you need to advance the plot. I managed to keep that letter. Many children did not. Often that letter got lost easily or was thrown out as junk. And since the internet was not a thing in 1990, most players were unable to advance the game beyond that critical point. Literally, the game would grind to a halt, and you would have to hope a friend knew the code, or try to brute force a 3-digit numeric code until you got it right. And for most, that is where their StarTropics adventure ended. Eventually this became so problematic that Nintendo Power, the official magazine of the Nintendo Corporation, had to publish the code in an issue of the magazine to address this issue. You know, if you could afford Nintendo Power. which was also a luxury item. If not, oh well. But despite its rudimentary plot, pandering, tone-deaf at times depiction of Pacific Island life, and silly design choices, it was a fun game for what it was, and among the few I was able to complete before the life cycle of the NES ended. It certainly made me think of yo-yos and the marketing crap that came with games in a different light. But it also began to make me think that perhaps there was more to games themselves. Or they could be more, and maybe I, like main character Mike, was growing up and needed something different from my adventures, and the Super Nintendo was on the horizon. But if your travels in life ever take you under the Southern Cross, look at those stars, swing a yo-yo once, and remember that anything is possible. Unless you threw out the letter from your uncle, because then you are just fucked. Thank you for listening.